Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So I stumbled upon another CNN reality check video. And really, I mean, CNN, the media as a whole, but CNN especially, man, they are going out of their way to unintentionally show their disconnect with a lot of people, especially the typical Trump voter. And, it really proves how out of tune that they really are with basically real Americans. There's a segment CNN's John King did where he goes to Iowa, which is a really important state, obviously, for GOP primaries. And his goal is to talk to Trump supporters. And surprise, surprise, he seems taken aback. Like he had no idea that Trump supporters are not big fans of him or CNN. And on top of that, he's surprised to find out that these people aren't towing the line on these mainstream narratives like the one about Ukraine. And guys, watching CNN interact with Trump voters, it's the vibe. I mean, it feels like they're talking about an entirely different group of people and not fellow Americans. It's terrible when you watch it, really. But on the flip side of that, it's revealing to see that many folks, they really aren't buying what CNN is selling. Have a look for yourself, guys. Before we do, thanks to everyone that's been subscribing and leaving such great comments. We appreciate the support. We're growing a pretty awesome community here. And if you haven't joined us already, guys, help us with the algorithm. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel.
Friends and family around the table don't watch and don't trust CNN. There is reverence for Ronald Reagan here. But listen.
The trust is gone.
Reagan's optimism replaced by Trump's grievances.
We got to find our own way to take care of ourselves.
Reagan's disdain of big government replaced by Trump's distrust of just about everything.
I think he thinks he was stolen from him.
Still questions about the 2020 election.
And I had a lot of people who agreed with him.
Criticism of the Trump prosecutions.
But nothing about that deal is the American way. I don't think.
And this.
If you think the United States should be supporting Ukraine in the fight against Putin, raise your hand. Nobody.
You don't have to be that smart to connect the dots, right? And so is the war to cover up sins committed so you can cover your tracks? There's too much money that's been thrown over there.
You think all the NATO countries would do what Biden told them to do because he's trying to cover up some Hunter Biden business deal by...
It all depends on how Zelensky, how much dirt he has on Biden to keep the money coming.
That's out there.
Yeah, because it's my deal, right?
Hey, well, how do you trust when you know the government has shut down Facebook and shut down Twitter and told them to not show certain news stories?
A few days here makes clear Trump's grip is very strong. You think Donald Trump is an honest and trustworthy person?
Yes. Yes.
This is warm-up season. 5 months until Iowa votes. 5 months until Republicans divided over Trump make a defining choice.
And John King is back in the Inside Politics studio. Fantastic piece, fantastic reporting. So much to unpack there. One of the things that struck me, first and foremost, obviously, was, and it really in my gut, in my heart, was just how seeped in these completely conspiratorial questions and thoughts are in the zeitgeist, particularly when you're talking to Republicans who consume conservative media who don't tell them the whole truth.
When you hear the Ukraine exchange there, it's like watching the open of an old Tucker Carlson show. He's not there anymore, but that's what it is. And these are busy people. These are hardworking people. There are too many Democrats who want to say they're deplorables or, why talk to these people? There are millions of them. This is a family that literally is an economic anchor in the community. The business started in the basement, employs 80 people. The new solar company employs 15 people in a part of the country that has been devastated economically and challenged economically the last 25 years. They're good people. They raise money for the Girl Scouts. They go to church, but they believe things that would break our fact check machine. That's just a fact. And they don't trust us. They think we're part of the problem.
Yeah.
So this is a long conversation. You're not going to solve it in one meeting. I was grateful for their time, and we sat there and had the exchange. Some of it you see there. Some of it's not on television. I hope I can go back and continue the conversation on respect. We can disagree. I can say that's wrong, but let's do it respectfully because that's what the country misses.
It was incredibly and will continue to be incredibly respectful.
So what's interesting to me? I mean, the way CNN seems genuinely surprised by Trump supporters, or let's call them regular people. because that's what they are. These are regular people. And it's a bit much, how they paint these folks as, as if supporting Trump literally puts a mark on them, like they're so different. I mean, come on, these are just everyday people. These are normal people that these people and these media elites, they never interact with. But CNN acts surprised that these same people don't trust them. While in the same breath telling them, oh, you believe in these out there conspiracy theories. This from the peddlers of probably the greatest conspiracy theory in the history of all conspiracy theories. And just to drive the point home about how they seem to view the common person, they had a guest on who implied that small dollar donations are somehow bad for democracy. I mean, I can't believe that somebody would say that. Corporate money, PAC money, dark money, none of those are a problem. That's all good. But regular citizens sending a couple $100 to a candidate is a danger to democracy. That is insane. That makes no sense. But again, this is how these people think. And I don't know how they don't hear the words coming out of their own mouths.
Where there were a lot of people, there was a lot of cheering and self-congratulation about the rise of small donors a decade ago. And now small donors are actually one of the biggest problems for democracy, for the GOP, because large donors actually have a strategic view about moderation, who can win, who can't. Small donors really are just venting their spleen with their credit card, and they lock candidates into positions that can hurt them in a general election.
Such an important point. I want to do
Yeah, bro. Such an important point. You're smart. But come on, man. That is just completely insane. When CNN has a guest who implies that regular people donating to a candidate is somehow wrong, it's got to make you wonder why they'd even say that or why they'd even think it. But it's pretty clear to me. It's because Trump's campaign, it isn't bankrolled by big corporations, but instead it's regular people making small contributions supporting him. And this seems to irritate a lot of people, especially the crazy leftists in the echo chambers on the internet. They shame people for donating to a billionaire who spends their money on legal fees, they say. And, there's this underlying belief with some of these elites, especially, that only the big companies or the wealthy should have a say in the political process. They really do believe this. They actually believe this. And when CNN talks to the average person, they seem genuinely confused as to why people aren't on their side. But, why would they be? CNN labels them as conspiracy theorists, while they themselves have spread conspiracies daily about Trump, ties to Russia, racial tensions, everything. His use of the word riggers, example of what's going on right now, to describe people who allegedly rigged an election, and they're turning that on him. It's all too much, man. But remember when CNN, they heavily covered the Steele dossier. They never talked about that being a conspiracy. They talked about that like it was the gospel truth, made it undeniable. And then the Hunter Biden laptop story, when that gets brought up, that is a conspiracy to them. And honestly, man, it's like living in two different worlds that they really can't even talk to each other. They're so in their bubble that when they hear any opinion that's outside that bubble, they can't possibly believe it. And I got to believe, most Americans probably agree with being more cautious about foreign interventions and sending money willy-nilly to foreign war zones. But the media and politicians, they are on a completely different wavelength. The Iraq war is a prime example. We were promised one thing, we got another. Americans just don't want more of the same. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that's the truth. But, every time I see these segments on CNN, it is entertaining. It's scary as hell, but it's entertaining. It's like watching them discover the real world for the first time, like Truman Show. But anyway, guys, that's just my take. Let me know yours in the comments. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the Common Sense Garage. We'll see you in the next one.